ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ॐ भद्रं नो अपि आतयमनः। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति। This is Brother's loving Om Namo Narayana to each one of you. There are occasions when we meet friends or relatives in a mall or at a function, and we invite them to a prayer at our home. But what really is a prayer? In Sanatana Dharma or Hinduism, there are two words or two terms that are used. One is puja and the other is prarthana. Puja is worship or veneration, where various ingredients are offered to God, and there could be hand gestures involved there as well. On the other hand, prarthana is made up of two words, pra-arthana. So it becomes prarthana. Prarthana is where you're asking for something in return. The English meaning of prayer would be a request, a petition, a supplication, or a solicitation. These are the meanings of prayer. So, when we have a function at home at which God is being venerated, it is not really a prayer. In fact, very little prayers are said during those functions. All that is done most often is a mechanical offering of ingredients and so forth. So basically, prayer is communion or communication between a devotee and a deity. As far as religion is concerned, that is what prayer is all about. And communication takes various forms. One of them is greeting. When you meet somebody, you greet him. Good morning, good afternoon, hello, hi, bye-bye, and all those things. Those are all greetings. Then we have salutation. Salutation is different from greeting. Salutation is offered to somebody who is superior to oneself, and this requires a certain amount of respect and reverence. It might be accompanied by hand gestures, or it may not be. Then there is adoration or praise. You send somebody a letter saying how well he has done something, how well he has achieved something. That is praise. Or you could actually say to somebody how much you adore that person. Then there is gratitude, where we express our gratitude for something that we have received. It could be in writing, it could be just oral. Next comes surrender. In normal life, surrender only takes place in a war, where the one party surrenders to the other. But that is communication, no matter how you look at it. Then there is this supplication or solicitation, where you ask for something. Send somebody a note. we are in dire need of this and that and the other thing. Please send us these items as soon as possible. And then, of course, when we are in a court, then your solicitor asks for leniency. Next is transaction, where you say, I give you this and you give me that in return. And then there is recognition, where you recognize the achievement of somebody or you recognize the greatness of somebody. So what is this got to do with religion? What has it got to do with us as members of the Ramakrishna movement? Let us look at these one by one. First one we spoke about is greeting. So where in this whole movement is the greeting to the deity I'm talking about here, not from one person to the other. And we find this in the Suprabhatams of Sri Ramakrishna and of Mother and of Swami Vivekananda. Very few of us know of these Suprabhatams. Suprabhatam is actually meaning, very loosely translated, is good morning. Suprabhatam is said in the morning. And we should get into a habit of doing that when we get up in the morning. We don't have to do all the number of verses that are there. At least the first verse of each of them. For example, in the case of Sri Ramakrishna, Dharmasya hani vaita paridishva shigram kamara pushkareti pradite samvidhe grame suvi prasadine vijate deva Sri Ramakrishna Bhagavan tava suprabhat. At least we can do that. It didn't even take me half a minute to do it. And I say to you, if we do this in the morning, we will feel much different than what we usually do in the morning when we leave for work or wherever we go in the morning. It is important that we remember this and that we apply it in our daily lives. Then we're looking at salutation. Salutation is there in our pranam mantras. And we dealt with some of them last week. Salutation has to be given as well, recognizing the greatness of the deity. In this case, Sri Ramakrishna, the Mother, and Sri Swami Vivekananda. Salutation is also found in the Guru Stotram, which is on page 177, where at the end of each verse, salutation is given to the Guru. And also we find this in the Sarva Mangala Mangalya, salutation to the Mother that we do at the end of our services. And that is on page 240. Then we look at adoration. Where among all our stotrams, stutis, and so forth, do we come across adoration? It is there. We do it. We will do it this evening. Khandana bhava vandana jagavandana vandituma. That is adoration. It actually says, that translation is actually, we adore you. So there we find it. Sorry. Then also, if we're looking at the Vishnu Arti, we find it in statements such as Bhakta Jano ki Sankat, and so forth. Adoring the Lord there for removing the difficulties in the pathway of the devotee. Gratitude, we don't find much of it in Sanskrit as such. But nothing stops us from giving gratitude in our own language, whether it is English or Hindi or Tamil, whatever it is. Give gratitude. We have to be grateful. And one of the things we have to be grateful when we get up in the morning, one of the things we have to be grateful for is that we are alive. Very few of us really give gratitude for the fact that we are alive. We go to bed in the evening hoping that we will get up in the morning alive. And when we do that, we should give gratitude. Now look at surrender. Where do we find surrender among our stotrams and stutis and so forth? And we find it in the Bhavani Ashtakam, which is on page 194, where you are the way, we say to the mother, you are my refuge. That is surrendering. I can do nothing without you. I totally give myself to you. Do what you may with me. Then also, we find it in the Sri Ramakrishna Stotram, which is on page 239. I'm telling you all this so that you will remember them and use them, and look at those pages when you get home at least. Tasma tvameva sharanam mama dina bandhu. Therefore, I surrender myself unto you, O Lord of the universe. Supplication or solicitation. In the last mantras that we say for the day, Sarvesham swasti bhavatu, Sarve bhavantu sukhina. There we are asking God to give these things to the people: happiness, goodness, fullness, peace, auspiciousness, all these things. These are some solicitations that we are addressing to God. Then there is also, as I said, recognition. And among mantras, Tameva Mata Japita Tameva, although it is not in our book, that is one of the mantras where you recognize that God, male, female or other, is mother, father, friend, and so forth. Also, we find that in that Sri Ramakrishna Stotram of page 239. Tasmatam eva sharanam mamatina. Recognizing again, once again, the greatness of Sri Ramakrishna. So, when we say these mantras, these stotrams and so forth, we have to actually imagine that we are speaking to the deity. You know, we are often accused of having a dead God. Certain religions say that theirs is the only living God. And they are right. Absolutely. Because we have killed our God. We don't have a personal relationship with God. And the result is that we do not actually receive what we expect. In the Devi Mahatmya, it is said that when the Mahatmya is done together with the Homa and so forth, it must be done with concentration and devotion. Concentration is seeing the deity before you. And devotion is giving your heart to that deity that is seated there in front of you. But very often it is done very mechanically. Priests Pandit, Brahman, whoever we want to call him, recites some mantras and we just make the offerings without even knowing why we are doing it, without even seeing the deity receiving what we are giving. Once we start doing that, then we start having a relationship with God. Then our lives start to work. Sri Ramakrishna said that the wish-fulfilling tree indeed gives what you want. But in order to get what you want, you have to go near the tree and pray and ask. In other words, it means you must have that relationship. So that is a relationship we also have to have with God in order that our lives work. And in our case, if we really are devotees of the Holy Trinity, then there is where our devotion should be, always, and wherever we are. So with these few words, I pray that we start to develop this relationship between ourselves and the deities seated in front of us. Om Shri Ramakrishna.